Long ago, in a kingdom hidden between mountains and rivers, there was a young man named Kael. He was not poor, nor was he unskilled. In fact, he was admired for his clever mind, sharp tongue, and quick memory. People in the village often said, "If anyone will rise high, it will be Kael." And Kael believed them. He carried himself proudly, always ready to give advice, always eager to display his knowledge. If an elder spoke about farming, Kael would interrupt, saying, "I already know that." If a traveler told a story about distant lands, Kael would nod impatiently, adding, "Yes, yes, I have heard it before." But despite his cleverness, Kael's life did not move forward. He remained restless, unsatisfied, unable to find peace or purpose. His pride became a wall that kept wisdom from entering. The encounter with the master. One day, Kael heard whispers about a wise master who lived high in the Jade Mountains. People said the master had taught warriors to become legends, kings to become just, and even healers to cure wounds of the heart. Kael's ambition stirred. "If I meet this master," he thought, "he will surely see my brilliance and teach me secrets no one else knows. Then I will become greater than all the others." So he packed food, filled his water skin, and began the long journey. The path was steep and narrow, lined with pine trees that whispered in the wind. Days passed. His legs ached, but pride carried him upward. At last, Kael reached a simple hut by a waterfall, where an old man sat in meditation. The master opened his eyes, calm and deep as still water. "You have traveled far," the master said. "Why have you come?" Kael bowed, though not too deeply. "I have come to learn from you. They say you are the greatest teacher alive. I am ready to absorb your wisdom." The master studied him quietly. "Very well. Come inside." The teacup lesson. Inside the hut, the air smelled of herbs and firewood. The master placed 2 cups on the table and poured tea. Kael, eager to show respect, began speaking rapidly about all he knew: philosophy, poetry, farming, trade, politics. He recited words of famous thinkers, told stories he had memorized, listed achievements from his youth. The master listened silently, nodding. He poured tea into Kael's cup as the young man spoke. Kael continued talking about his plans, his dreams, his cleverness, until suddenly he noticed tea spilling over. The cup overflowed, hot liquid spilling onto the floor. "Stop!" Kael cried. "The cup is full. No more can go in." The master set down the teapot, his eyes calm. "Exactly. Like this cup, you are full of your own opinions, pride, and knowledge. Nothing more can enter. If you wish to learn, you must first empty your cup." The words struck Kael like thunder. He lowered his gaze, ashamed. For the first time, he saw his arrogance. The emptying. From that day, Kael stayed with the master. At first, it was torture. "Chop wood," the master instructed. Kael thought, "I already know how to chop wood," but when he tried, the blade struck poorly. The master showed him again, and Kael realized he had never truly known. "Carry water," the master said. Kael muttered, "Such a simple task," yet when he lifted the buckets, water spilled. The master's method, balanced, calm, steady, seemed effortless. Day after day, Kael's pride was tested. Each task revealed his ignorance. Each lesson showed how little he truly knew. At night, he lay awake, wrestling with frustration. But the image of the overflowing cup haunted him. So Kael began to change. When he wanted to interrupt, he bit his tongue. When he wanted to boast, he listened instead. Slowly, he emptied his mind of arrogance, making space for humility. Seasons of learning. Seasons passed. In spring, Kael learned to till the earth, planting seeds with patience. The soil teaches, the master said. You cannot rush growth. You cannot demand fruit. You can only prepare and trust. In summer, Kael trained with a wooden staff. His first strikes were wild, full of pride, but the master corrected him. Strength is nothing without stillness. Empty your mind, and the staff will move as part of you. In autumn, Kael learned to write poetry, capturing the fading leaves and cool winds. The master said, "Words are like arrows. If the heart is heavy, the arrow bends. Empty your heart, and the arrow flies straight." In winter, Kael sat in silence by the fire, learning to breathe. At first, his thoughts swarmed like bees, but with practice, he discovered spaces of stillness. He realized that true emptiness was not nothingness. It was openness, the doorway to growth. The test years passed, and Kael grew into a man of calm strength. His pride had melted, replaced by clarity. Yet the master had one final test. One morning, he gave Kael a sealed scroll. "Take this to the valley below, but beware. Bandits roam the forest. If you let fear or pride cloud your mind, you will fail." Kael bowed. "I will obey." On the path down the mountain, shadows stirred. Bandits leapt from the trees, blades gleaming. The old Kael might have panicked, swinging wildly or boasting of his skill. But the new Kael remembered, "Empty your mind." He breathed deeply. Fear dissolved. Pride vanished. He saw only the moment. With steady movements, he defended himself. His staff flowed like water, striking where it must, deflecting what it must. The bandits, surprised by his calm, fled into the forest. Kael delivered the scroll safely. When he returned, the master smiled. "You have learned. Empty mind is not absence. It is freedom. With it, you are not bound by fear, pride, or anger. You move with life itself. Return to the valley." At last, Kael returned to his village. The people were astonished. Gone was the arrogant youth. Before them stood a man whose presence was calm, steady, and bright. He did not boast of his journey. Instead, he listened to their struggles, farmers battling drought, children craving guidance, elders burdened by age, and with a quiet heart, he shared what he had learned. He taught farmers patience, children humility, elders peace. His words were not loud, but they carried weight, for they came from an emptied cup. People began to call him not Kael the clever, but Kael the wise. The legacy. In time, Kael became a teacher himself. He built a small school by the river where anyone could come. He told them the story of the overflowing cup. He showed them how to breathe, how to listen, how to let go. His most repeated words were simple. Empty your mind. When your cup is full of pride, fear, and noise, nothing new can enter. But when you are empty, you can hold the universe. And those who listened found their lives transformed. Farmers worked with joy, children grew kind, leaders grew just. The village, once ordinary, became a place of peace and wisdom. The final reflection. Years later, as Kael grew old, a young traveler came to him, much like Kael once had. The boy said eagerly, "Teach me, master. I already know many things, but I want the deepest secrets." Kael poured tea. The boy spoke endlessly, boasting of his knowledge. Kael kept pouring until the tea overflowed. The boy shouted, "Stop! The cup is full!" Kael smiled gently. "Yes, and so are you. Empty your cup, and then we shall begin." The boy fell silent, realizing the lesson, and thus the circle continued. The lesson for you. This is not just Kael's story. It is a mirror for us all. How often do we fill our minds with pride, with fear, with noise? How often do we cling to what we think we know, leaving no room for growth. To empty your mind does not mean to erase yourself. It means to let go of the clutter, the arrogance, the fear, the endless chatter. It means to create space for wisdom, for peace, for new beginnings. Remember, a cup already full cannot hold fresh water. A heart already crowded cannot receive new love. A mind already noisy cannot hear truth. So empty your mind, and you will find not emptiness, but freedom.